The rapture is not a distant event reserved for future generations. It is a moment that is already set in motion, and it is moving toward us with a speed most believers have failed to recognize. The world may be unaware, distracted by the chaos of daily life, but the signs are undeniable. The prophetic countdown began long ago, and it started with a single undeniable moment in history, the return of Israel to the land in 1948. For those who truly understand the Bible, this event was the ticking of a divine clock. Jesus himself said, "Learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near." The fig tree, representing Israel, began to bloom again, and the clock started ticking. The world has been running out of time ever since. Every sign Jesus warned us about in Matthew 24 is unfolding before our eyes, yet many are still living as though the rapture is a distant, abstract event. Wars, famines, pestilences, earthquakes, these are not coincidental. They are the signs that mark the moments leading up to the great event. Yet most people, including many in the church, are still asleep. As we approach the final moments before the rapture, there is a sudden urgency that the church must wake up to. This isn't a moment to sit back and wait for something to happen in the future. It is happening now, and it is almost over. The countdown isn't a metaphor. It is real, it is happening, and you need to know that the final moments are closer than anyone has imagined. The question is not whether the rapture will happen. It is whether you will be ready when it does. Keycap won the sign that started the countdown, Israel's return to the land. The rapture countdown didn't begin with wars, rumors of wars, or natural disasters. It began with a prophecy fulfilled in 1948. Jesus' words in Matthew 24 verses 32 to 34 are the key. Learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see all these things, know that it is near, at the doors. The fig tree Jesus referred to in the Bible is Israel. In 1948, Israel was reestablished as a nation, and this single event began the prophetic clock that leads to the rapture. For nearly 2,000 years, Israel was a broken, scattered nation. The Jews were in exile, but God had already declared through the prophets that he would bring them back to the land. Ezekiel 37 verses 21 to 22 prophesied that God would gather Israel from the nations and bring them back to their own land. In 1948, when Israel declared independence, this prophecy was fulfilled, and the countdown for the final events began. Jesus said that this generation, those who witnessed the rebirth of Israel, would not pass away until all these things take place. That means the generation alive in 1948 is the one that will witness the rapture. The reestablishment of Israel marked the beginning of the end. This event set the entire prophetic timeline in motion. Every other sign that follows, wars, earthquakes, famines, and the rise of false prophets, are the warnings leading us to the ultimate moment, the return of Jesus and the rapture of his church. We are living in the final generation. The countdown is not a distant future event. It is happening now, and the signs are all around us. Keycap 2, the birth pains, the increase of global chaos and deception. As the rapture countdown moves forward, we are witnessing an acceleration of the very signs Jesus warned us about in Matthew 24. He described these events as birth pains, the early contractions that signal the arrival of something monumental. Just as a woman feels more frequent and intense contractions before giving birth, the signs of the end times are becoming more frequent and more intense as the rapture draws near. The first of these signs is an explosion of global chaos. Jesus spoke of wars, rumors of wars, famines, and earthquakes in various places. Since 1948, we have seen an undeniable rise in geopolitical tension, violence, and natural disasters. Wars are escalating, nations are in conflict, and famines and plagues are spreading. The earth itself seems to be groaning under the pressure, with hurricanes, wildfires, and earthquakes growing in intensity and frequency. But the chaos is not just external. The deception Jesus warned about is also spreading, and this is perhaps the most insidious sign of all. False prophets, false teachings, and a false sense of peace are flooding the world. The spiritual landscape is being manipulated, and many are being led astray by teachings that distort the truth. The rise of counterfeit religions, the blending of faiths, and the distortion of biblical truths are all part of the deception that prepares the world for the Antichrist. Jesus said, "See that no one deceives you," and yet deception is rampant. The love of many is growing cold as fear, confusion, and lawlessness spread. People are no longer trusting God. They are trusting the systems of this world. The rise of chaos and deception is not random. It is part of God's prophetic plan, signaling that the rapture is closer than ever before. Keycap 3, the rapture timeline. What the Bible really says about the end. The rapture is the next great event on God's prophetic timeline, but it is not the end of the story. Many believers and even churches misunderstand the sequence of events that lead to the rapture. The Bible, however, lays it out clearly, giving us a roadmap for what to expect in the final days. In Matthew 24, Jesus gives us the signs that lead to his return. He said the gospel must be preached to all nations, and then the end will come. We're living in a time when the gospel is reaching every corner of the earth through technology, missionaries, and translations. Once the gospel has been proclaimed to all, the rapture will happen suddenly, like a thief in the night. The Apostle Paul further clarifies the rapture in 1 Thessalonians 4 verses 16 to 17, where he describes how the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then those who are alive and remain will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air. This moment will be instantaneous, transforming believers into glorified bodies, and we will be with the Lord forever. After the rapture, the Antichrist will rise to power, beginning the 7 years of tribulation. But the rapture marks the beginning of God's final plan to judge the earth and establish his eternal kingdom. It is not the end. It is the beginning of the final phase of God's redemption of the world. The Bible's timeline is not unclear. The rapture will happen before the tribulation begins, and we are rapidly approaching that moment. As we see the signs unfolding, it is time to ask, are you ready? Keycap for the midnight moment. How the world will be caught off guard. Jesus warned that the rapture would come at an unexpected moment, like a thief in the night. In Matthew 24 verse 44, he said, "Therefore you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect." This warning was not meant to frighten, but to prepare. The rapture will not be announced with alarms or signs in the sky. It will be sudden and silent. The world will be caught off guard. Life will feel normal. People will be living, working, eating, and planning for tomorrow, unaware that the most pivotal event in history is about to unfold. The rapture will occur in the twinkling of an eye, and in that moment, everything will change. Those who are ready will rise, but the rest will be left behind, scrambling for answers that will never come. In the parable of the 10 virgins, half were prepared for the midnight cry, and half were not. At midnight, the call went out, but only those who had oil in their lamps, those whose hearts were burning with the love of Christ, were ready to meet the bridegroom. The rest were left in the dark, desperately trying to gather what they lacked. But it was too late. This midnight moment is not just a future event. It is a warning for today. Jesus was clear that many would be asleep when he returns. Spiritual slumber is one of the greatest dangers of the final hour. The world, distracted and indifferent, will not see it coming. But for the faithful, the midnight cry will be the signal to rise and meet the Lord. The question is, will you be ready when the midnight comes? Keycap 5, the rise of the remnant, those who shine brightest at midnight. As midnight approaches, the darkness will grow heavier, but so will the light. Jesus told us that in the final days, the love of many would grow cold, and the world would fall into spiritual apathy. Yet in the midst of all the chaos, there will be a remnant, a small, faithful group of believers who will rise, shine, and be ready for the rapture when the midnight cry sounds. The remnant are not defined by popularity or outward success. They are defined by their unwavering devotion to Christ, their commitment to keeping their lamps filled with oil, and their refusal to compromise their faith in the face of increasing darkness. While the world slumbers, the remnant will stay awake. While others chase after fleeting comforts, the remnant will hunger for holiness. While many grow numb and indifferent, the remnant will keep their hearts burning with love for Jesus. This remnant church will not be distracted by the world's noise or enticed by its pleasures. They will remain focused, faithful, and full of anticipation for the return of the bridegroom. They are the ones who are keeping their hearts pure, their lives aligned with God's word, and their eyes fixed on the hope of his coming. They are not perfect, but they are passionate. They are not flawless, but they are surrendered. They know the cost of discipleship and have counted it worthy. In this final hour, the remnant will shine brightest. They will be the ones who stand firm in their faith, unshaken by the chaos around them, and who, when the trumpet sounds, will rise to meet Jesus in the air. As the world grows darker, the remnant will grow brighter. Will you be part of it? Conclusion: the final countdown is almost over. Will you be ready? The Rapture countdown is not a distant, abstract event. It is unfolding right before our eyes. Every sign, every warning, every prophetic marker has already been set in motion. The return of Israel, the rise of deception, the increase of chaos, and the spiritual coldness spreading like wildfire. They are all confirming that the final hour is drawing near. But here's the truth we cannot ignore. The countdown is not about the world, it is about the church. While the world races toward its final moments, God is calling his people to be prepared. The midnight cry has already begun to echo in the hearts of those who are awake, stirring believers to remember the one command that will decide who rises and who remains: to love one another as he has loved us. As the darkness deepens, the remnant will rise. They will shine in the midst of the night, their lamps filled with oil, ready to meet the bridegroom. But what about you? Are you ready? Is your heart burning with the love of Christ, your lamp full of oil, your eyes fixed on the coming of the Lord? Or will you be caught off guard, running to fill your lamp at the last minute, only to find the door closed? The rapture is coming soon. The signs are clear, the countdown is almost over, and the final moment is fast approaching. This is not a time for complacency. It's not a time to be spiritually asleep. It's time to prepare, to get ready, to be filled with the love of Christ, and to stay awake. When the trumpet sounds and the sky splits open, may you be found in the company of the prepared, those who have lived in anticipation of his return. The countdown has begun. Will you be ready when the final hour arrives?